Among the countless figures of Greek mythology, there is one name that is rarely spoken, yet it carries great meaning: Kratos. Not a god seated on Olympus, nor a hero praised in legends, he is the very embodiment of strength, an unyielding symbol of authority. Thousands of years later, his name would rise again, not from ancient scrolls, but from a screen, becoming a gaming icon, a modern legend known across the world. This is the journey of Kratos, from ancient myth to god of war.
Kratos was born of Pallas, a titan, and Styx, the sacred river goddess. He was not alone. Alongside his siblings, Nike, the spirit of victory, Bia, the force of violence, and Zealous, the spirit of zeal, Kratos became a symbol of the power that upheld Zeus's throne. They were loyal followers of the king of the gods, reminders that Zeus's rule was not only built on wisdom, but on force and domination. Kratos' most notable role in myth appears in the tragic play Prometheus Bound. In this tale, Zeus orders Prometheus to be punished for daring to steal fire from mankind. Kratos and Bia are commanded to lead Prometheus to the Caucasus Mountains. There, with cold resolve, Kratos forces Hephaestus to bind Prometheus to the cliff. Though Hephaestus hesitated, his heart heavy with pity, Kratos spoke with iron words, "This task is not about mercy, it is about power." Thus, Kratos came to embody relentless strength and the harsh face of authority.
After the classical age, Kratos faded from the stories of mythology. He was rarely remembered as a character, but more as an abstract idea: power. For the Greeks, Kratos was a reminder that the rule of the gods stood not only on wisdom and justice, but on compulsion and fear. Centuries later, during the 19th century, European scholars revived his name. Writers and philosophers used Kratos as a symbol of uncompromising authority, a force that bends all beneath it. Yet no one could have imagined that his name would be reborn as a legend in modern entertainment. In 2005, Sony's Santa Monica studio introduced a new character to the world of gaming: Kratos. No longer just a personification of power, this Kratos was a Spartan warrior known as the Ghost of Sparta. In his story, Kratos is deceived by Ares, the god of war. In a blind rage, he slaughters his own wife and child with his own hands. Crushed by grief and consumed by vengeance, Kratos swore to take his revenge. Wielding the legendary Blades of Chaos, he faced Ares in an epic battle. And in the end, Kratos triumphed, killing the god of war and ascending to take his place as the new god of war.
But Kratos' fury did not end there. In the God of War trilogy, he turned his rage against Olympus itself. To him, the gods were tyrants who toyed with the fate of mortals. This conflict led to his greatest battle, against Zeus, his own father in the game's lore. Their clash shook Olympus to its core. Lightning split the skies, temples crumbled, and one by one, the gods fell to Kratos' wrath. The climax came in God of War 3. With unstoppable rage, Kratos drove the blade of Olympus through Zeus's chest. The king of the gods was slain. Olympus lay in ruins, and Kratos was left in emptiness.
Years passed. The world had changed, and so had Kratos. In 2018, God of War returned, this time set in the realm of Norse mythology. Kratos was no longer the same. He was older now, bearded, clad in fur, living in Midgard, far from his bloody past. By his side stood Atreus, his young son, destined to be known as Loki. Their journey was not only a battle against gods, but also a father's path to guide his child, and to redeem his soul. Yet, fate could not be escaped. Kratos once again found himself drawn into divine conflict, facing Baldur, Thor, and ultimately Odin in the saga of Ragnarok. In the Norse world, Kratos revealed a new side of himself, not just a god of war, but a father, a man searching for peace.
In the end, Kratos became more than just the ghost of Sparta, more than a slayer of gods. He became a symbol, a myth retold not only for his rage, but for his transformation. Once, Kratos was consumed by vengeance. His blades cut down everything that stood in his way, men, monsters, titans, and gods alike. Olympus trembled under his fury, and his very name became a curse of destruction. But with each victory, he was left emptier, haunted by blood and loss. Yet, time changed him. In the cold, harsh lands of Midgard, far away from the ruins of Greece, Kratos discovered something he never thought possible: redemption. No longer just a warrior, he became a father once more. The chains that once bound him in fury became symbols of discipline, control, and wisdom. Atreus, his son, became both his burden and his salvation. Through their journey together, Kratos was forced to confront not only gods and monsters, but also the rage within himself. For the first time, he fought not for vengeance, but for legacy, for a chance to break the cycle of violence that had consumed him. Today, Kratos stands as a myth of duality. He is both the destroyer and the protector, both the embodiment of wrath and the guardian of peace. His story is no longer about endless bloodshed. It is about struggle, growth, and the possibility of change. And so, the ghost of Sparta lives on, not as a shadow of his past, but as a reminder that even the fiercest warrior can seek forgiveness, and even a god can learn to be human.
From the cliffs of the Caucasus, where Prometheus was chained, to the peak of Olympus, where Zeus fell, and finally to the snowy forests of Midgard, the journey of Kratos is a reflection of change itself. Once the embodiment of cold authority, now a tragic hero, and at last a symbol of redemption. This is Kratos, god, warrior, father, and a legend that will never die.